remember as a child being very angry. One day I was sitting in my childhood bedroom building a Lego structure. And then everything was fine until my brother walks in the room and ruins everything. He starts disrupting me, distracting me, and finally he destroys my entire Lego structure that I've been building. And so I put it back together, and again, he just keeps pestering me. I can't take it anymore, and finally I lash out at him. And I move to attack him, and he escapes my attack, and before I know it, I'm chasing him down the stairs, and I'm yelling, "I'm going to kill you." And with my war cry of hate towards my brother, my anger turns to tears. And as I enter the living room, I fall down into tears. So you may chalk this story up to normal sibling behavior. I don't remember my childhood easily, but I remember fighting with my brother. We were different in many ways, and we still are. I actually haven't spoken to my brother in over 3 years. You see, 3 years ago, I lashed out again at my brother. And this time, it wasn't a Lego structure that was collapsing. For me, in that moment, my family was collapsing. For the past 3 years, I have been getting to understand my own anger. See, I tend to fall asleep to my own anger, which means I subconsciously and unconsciously suppress my anger. If you know me very much at all, angry is probably one of the last words you'd use to describe me. For those that don't know me, my name is David Lalone, and I am a volunteer on the teaching team. As you can probably gather, we are here to discuss the 6th commandment, do not kill. These 10 commandments were inscribed on stone tablets given directly from God to Moses on top of a mountain. They would go on to shape the people of God for thousands of years. So what is so important about this commandment? What can we learn today? With just 3 words, this should be a short message, right? Well, we'll see about that. The Bible has a lot to say about killing. There are many stories of murder and war. Some of these stories are quite graphic. Characters like Samson and David are adorned as heroes for the many Philistines that they killed. Yet Cain is forever vilified for getting angry with his brother and murdering him. It begs the question, what is the difference? The difference is between 2 English words, kill and murder. And depending on your Bible translation, the 6th commandment might read, do not kill, or it might say, do not murder. Kill is a much more broader term that could be interpreted as a prohibition on squashing a bug or eating meat. Murder is a much more specific term. The dictionary defines murder as the unlawful, premeditated killing of one human being by another. This definition uses the term unlawful to modify the parameters of killing. This would leave it up to the law to decide what is murder. As humans, we have a difficult task of figuring out what murder really is. Even with a long history of law in our own country, we have recent events such as the trial of Derek Chauvin and Kyle Rittenhouse. Derek Chauvin's case questioned if a police officer could be held accountable for killing a black man. In that case, it was George Floyd, which we all remember stirred up our nation crying for justice. Kyle Rittenhouse's case looked at self-defense, in which the lines of killing and murder can get blurred. We cannot always trust our human laws and judicial system to give us justice and give us clear lines of right and wrong. We are left to have faith in a just God, which is continuing to work for peace and reconciliation. One way he manifests that work is writing his laws on our own hearts. There are 2 heavy social issues being debated around in our society that relate to this topic. Now, I don't usually shy away from hot button topics, but these are 2 topics I rarely speak on. The first one being abortion. The Supreme Court recently overturned Roe v. Wade, and this issue of abortion fights over words like baby or fetus, pro-life or pro-choice, murder or termination. With this recent Supreme Court decision, there's a valid concern for the future of women's reproductive health care. And for many women, this decision is a threat of violence to their very bodies. And others cheer this decision for the potential lives that will be birthed into this world because of the state's anti-abortion laws. The other topic is on violence, or more specifically, gun violence. Our country has a violence problem. Homicide is a growing crime, and we must ask ourselves why. Because violent crime has been on the decline for decades, and now we are seeing an upward trend of violence. It's not only in the national news There are murders happening in Lansing. And just a few weeks ago, there was a shooting in my own neighborhood, Baker Denora. The debate is on how to solve this problem. Often the debate gets bogged down in legislation of gun control. What guidance does the Bible offer for our current problems? And I'm not going to resolve this by the end of this message either. 3 simple words, do not kill, are starting to look a little less simple. How often have I heard people say, I've probably broken all the 10 commandments except for do not murder. At least I haven't killed anyone. It shows that many people haven't given this commandment much thought. With the rise of gun violence in our own country, I fear we have grown desensitized to the reality of violence. How long must we cry? Have we grown less comforted by thoughts and prayers? I know I just bombarded you with some rapid fire concepts to digest, so I pause to give you time to discuss this question. How much have you thought about this commandment before? Have you grown desensitized to violence in our own world?